Good morning, Bill, on this very cold, wintry day.
Well, Mark, at 5:30 this morning, I can tell you that as I walked the streets, all the cars are covered in ice. The lawns were covered in ice, and I felt sorry for the dogs that are out there trying to walk on ice.
Yeah, well, I was taking my dog for a walk this morning. It said it was 3 degrees, and the dog got on the first frosty grass and looked at me as if to say, "What are you doing to me?" And he quickly moved to the footpath. So, anyway, who are we chatting with again today?
Well,
Peter?
today it's our pleasure to have back a previous guest on our podcast. In fact, that we first interviewed Peter Murrihy, in October on 2022.
Okay.
That was when we did, and at that stage, Peter, you were the mayor of Geelong.
Was I still mayor?
You were mayor of Geelong. And we had a long chat about your background and everything, but today we've got some other issues that we would like to ask you and hear a bit in particular about the Geelong Racing Club and the success you've had there as chair of the board.
Yep.
So I'm looking forward to this, Mark.
So welcome, Peter.
Thanks, Mark. Thanks, Bill.
And Bill and I decided that we thought we'd go back and grab a few people we've had a good chat with and just find out a little bit more about them. So you popped up as one that we enjoyed chatting with. And so let's begin. How did you get on the Geelong Racing Club? What's your interest of racing? Where did that come from?
Well, look, I think that stems back from my dad. As a kid, you know, my dad was not a mad punter, but he loved the races, and I picked up that love of the horse from him, I guess, and always been a bit of a punter, but not a big punter. Always loved going to the races. I've been a member at Flemington for 25 years, I think. But when I first arrived at Geelong, the Geelong Cup was the big social event to go to for the year. So, and that was 1980s. That was the first cup, and haven't missed a Geelong Cup since. So maybe 8 or 9 years ago, I was approached. I said, "Look, if you're interested in coming on the board, the racing club," I jumped at it, you know. And within a couple of years, I was president, and I love it. It's great. It's a fantastic involvement. We're the committee's a board of management, so there's the commitment's not huge. Obviously, we've got a CEO, and he's got the staff. So it's an enjoyable time, my time with the race club.
And how many race meetings do you have in the year?
Yeah, we have about 24, 25 meetings a year. Previously, we had more. We used to have the artificial track.
I remember
yeah,
that.
Yeah. And when we had it when I was first appointed, and when I became president, and there was moves, to take it off us, and which. It was good that they did take it off us, but in the negotiations we were able to get a larger grass track, so there was a huge work done, renovations on the track when we lost the synthetic. So I think now we have the best track in Victoria.
Well, I was up at Ballarat Turf Club last year, and I know there's been a lot of money poured into there, and it's become a real venue within that city. Yeah. So what value does the Geelong Racing Club add to this region? And I know I agree with the Geelong Cup because we interviewed Deb Nash at Cuffleduck, and that's a huge event for them. And they do it really well.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah. So just talk about how you see the benefit of the Geelong Racing Club to our region.
Yeah, it's a great question. We did a REM plan, it's probably 5 or 6 years ago, on what was spent in the region over the Geelong Cup, and it was up about $3.5 million. Wow. And that's 5 or 6 years ago, and I know how much more we've invested into the Cup itself since then. So the benefit to the local economy is huge, and there's nothing else like it. There is nothing else like the Geelong Cup. So regional Victoria, and you can even take it into the city. Like, it's the biggest social event by a mile in Geelong. Yep. There's nothing else. Yep. There's nothing else like it. And we've really improved our corporate facilities and what's available on Geelong Cup Day. We have marquees that quite expensive to get into. And they're the first sold out.
Yep.
Every year. We could nearly do twice as many as
It's
them.
interesting, isn't it?
Well, Mark, maybe we better get off our backside and book this year, right?
Well,
Have a day out.
It's interesting. We used to live just around the corner from Rose Hill Racecourse when I lived in Sydney.
Okay, yeah.
So we used to toddle there, my wife and I, occasionally just to watch. And so I'm not a mad, but I like to go. And when we came down to Geelong and then we had kids, we used to go to the Boxing Day.
Yeah, right.
Because that was always good fun.
Traditional
To sit there right on the grass, right next to the track. The kids would pick the colour of the jockey they liked, and off you go. Yeah. And it was good fun. And I must admit I haven't been for years, but the kids have grown up. We've got other interests. But every now and then I think, I should go back and have a look. So how many members have you got?
Look, not probably close to 600.
Okay.
So it's not a huge membership sort of based club. And the racing's changed. I think there was always benefits to be a member, but when you're trying to get people through the gate, we sort of opened it up.
Yeah, so it's more about the event than...
Absolutely, yeah. And look, last year's Cup, we got about 10,000 people there.
That's a big number,
and probably 60, 70% of those would be in corporate facilities. And the weather wasn't great last year.
Yep.
We rained every half hour. But the year before was perfect.
Perfect, yeah.
Good. Now, just in looking at the great area, the real estate there, because the showgrounds is there and all the rest of it. Yeah. So is that all Crown land, and is there a management committee over the whole real estate, or how do you fit into that?
Yeah, so we've just got the racecourse, and it is Crown land.
Yeah.
The showgrounds, the committee of management there. I think there's about 30 or 40 on the committee of management at the showgrounds.
As there always is in a country show.
Not a good move.
So a lot of land there, a lot of land there. And in fact, it's funny we're having this conversation today, because yesterday I was in Melbourne meeting with the CEO of the VRC and the chair of the VRC, and we're talking about what can be done between the two clubs, and they were already had the documents on the table when we got there. They were wanting to get involved and to help with Geelong, help with Geelong Cup and the Melbourne Cup together.
Wow.
And to see what can be done in pushing both cups. There's some great opportunities, and they asked about the showgrounds. Yeah.
Oh. Well, I refer back to Caulfield, right? Because there's now all this talk going on about what they're doing internally within the track. Yeah. And it's I think a lot of sporting activity. And then I look back here. One of our interviewees was Gareth Kent.
Yep.
He's now out at Bexley Park on the committee out there, and I've always looked at that and thought, well, it really is a wasted space for most of the year. What other use can it be put to?
Could you develop housing?
Is that viable?
Could you develop housing or apartments around the perimeter of it? Or?
Could love to. Yeah, look, we're talking about that. It's Crown land, so it's difficult.
It makes it tricky, doesn't it?
Like Caulfield, I think they're privately owned. Caulfield owned it. Sandown own theirs.
Yep. Yeah, well, that's basically destined into non-existence, isn't it?
Yeah. But we're going down that path. We're making the inquiries. Like, if we could start again.
Yes.
Perhaps I shouldn't say some things, but I'm not. The showgrounds, there could be so much more done there.
Yeah, because it does just sit there empty, doesn't it, for such a long time? And it's, we're crying out for social and affordable housing, and it's in a good and you've got a train line that runs through the racecourse. Is there a train line that runs next to it? Yeah. With a station there at the racecourse.
Well, there's the remnants of a station. And when they were doing the duplication, well, still doing it now. We, I floated that. Well, could we get that station back? Station, what was it called? Something Landing, it's called. I don't know if the sign's still there anymore. But
the line's still there?
Well, it's the
new line.
It's the new line.
Oh, it's the new line.
Yeah, so it's just across the road.
So, it would be pretty cool to have a station there and use it for race day. You don't have to use it all the time.
It just makes sense, but to get to the right authorities, they don't see that. They just see the dollars.
That'd be rather cool.
No, well, that's good to hear about the racing club, because it is important, and we know that most of the money that comes out of horse racing comes through the TAB and all that sort of stuff. But we need these sorts of social events, don't we, Mark?
It's good events. Like
as I call them.
Boxing Day was really a family day. From my memory, I assume it still is.
So an update on we no longer have Boxing Day, only from last year. Last year.
Yeah.
It was the first time we didn't have Boxing Day because we now have a Saturday standalone meeting, which is the first Saturday in January. And that means that there's no metro meeting. There's no Caulfield, Flemington, Moonee Valley or Sandown. We're the actual main meeting. And we've been trying to achieve that for years. Like, it was a huge aspiration for the club. We're able to achieve it this year. And we had 5,000 people there.
That's good.
And it was great. But we had to achieve that Saturday. We had to give up something else.
Yep.
But we did race on the 27th, not the 26th.
Yep.
Yeah. So, and that was a huge success. The Super Saturday meeting. So that's in again for next year. Already planning for that. So it's exciting. And with our race meetings, like the 24, 25 we have during the year. Like winter is, people love getting out there, and most of our meetings during this period now, winter, are on a Friday, which is good because we're able to. There's a lot of charity events that are held. There's APCO Foundation.
There's one on at the moment. APCO are doing something at the moment, aren't they?
Yeah, well, they had that's today, I think, so 30th, yesterday.
Oh, because I went to APCO service station this morning to get my coffee and my paper. And there's balloons and things all done up.
They're a big fundraising. So they have a big fundraising event, a race meeting, every year with us. Yeah. Do a fantastic job. Zapco, Right Mate, support of men's mental health. They've had a couple race meetings the last couple of years. The Jai Roderick race day from Roderick Insurance in memory of Jai in support of leukemia. Cottage by the Sea have been having a race meeting every year. Girls on Track, which supports Barwon Health. The Torquay Cup raises money for a local charity down there. We had a Lifeline CEO dash there a few months ago.
That's right.
Oh, one of our
nearly
$40,000
again.
Yep.
We had a past.
Jared Rat was in that. Was it Jared?
Yeah,
Jared
from
I knew I wasn't going to. Yeah, the Plan Group. Yep.
Oh yes, yeah.
He ran in that.
We also have and the race, like the event at the facility itself, Friend in Me Day, which is in support of the disadvantaged. That's I think in February that day. We're a sponsor for the racing club itself is a sponsor for ride for the disabled down at Wellington. You know where they ride the horses.
Oh, Mark, you're involved.
I'm on the board of Benefit Geelong.
Okay, yeah.
And we just handed a cheque across to Riding for the Disabled to allow them to run more of their classes.
Oh, fantastic.
Yeah, and I'd been out to this. I'm only around the corner from it.
We've just come on board. Yeah. So...
I was amazed at the horses there. We digress slightly, but we're talking horses.
Okay, yeah.
Obviously, they have to have a certain temperament because of having kids on there and dealing with different sort of kids' behaviours. And these horses just stood deathly still. The kids were on top, moving around. The horses did not move, and they just led them around. That was fantastic. Yeah. Kids had a ball.
Yeah. So we're delighted to be able to be a sponsor.
So that's really interesting, Peter, because I didn't realise that. So that means a lot of those races are putting a huge amount of community connection in and support into the community.
Oh, absolutely. Like,
that's amazing.
I can guarantee, like at the Jai Roderick race day, that was about 3 weeks ago, like 320 people upstairs just enjoying themselves, and it's not about having a bet. Yeah. It's just the social interaction. It's a social interaction.
People, And it's the atmosphere. You're on a racetrack.
Yeah, that's right.
You can look out there. You don't even need horses. It just looks different.
Yeah.
Well, that's why we used to like going with the kids, because it wasn't about hundreds of thousands of dollars. It was a dollar each way or whatever, and just having a bit of fun. And it was the atmosphere, the feel of the place.
The second time that Liz and I went out for a...
Good heavens!
Was that chariots?
We went to the showgrounds to the trots.
Saturday night at the trots.
Saturday night at the
back
trots.
then. Yeah.
That was our second date.
But that used to be on telly every Saturday.
It was.
Mary Hardy and
Yeah.
Bill Collins.
Exactly.
Cross to the trots.
How it evolves, doesn't it? So do you get featured on Channel 7's racing channel and stuff? Do they come down and film you? And
Oh, yeah.
constantly?
Yeah. Racing.com.
Yep.
Yeah, no, so, I mean, all races every day are live. So we've got a good reach to the country, out into the country. So,
Peter, what other activities you're up to at the moment?
yeah, well...
You got a list there a mile long?
No. So, I mean, I said right, mate. So I'm a member of the Man Walk, which supports men's mental health. We meet at the Orchid Cafe every Saturday morning at 8 o'clock and grab a coffee and walk for an hour. Walk, talk, support. And
that's
it's
good.
in support of men's mental health. Yeah, so been doing that. Actually, we just had 5 years.
Oh, good.
So I'm really, proud of my involvement in that.
How many did you get along to that?
Yeah, look, every Saturday's a bit different, but I think the average now is 20, 25.
Wow. And evolving or the same?
There's different faces, but there's a lot of the same faces, which is good. Mm-hmm. And look, some of them need it. Some of them need to get there and walk. And you can just tell, from you see them when they arrive, but when they're going, they've got a bit of a spring in their step. It's just, just that involvement.
Yeah, we tend to be insular a bit.
Oh, absolutely.
But it becomes a trusted environment.
Exactly.
Yeah, once you get going,
yeah.
And there's no other agendas or anything like that.
Yeah.
And it's just that, it's the old story. It takes one step to get moving.
Yeah. They don't think they can come, they can, talk their heart out if they want, or they don't, and we have a laugh and, it's a good environment.
But it's a supporting environment, which is very, very important.
Yeah. So there's that ambassador for Active Geelong, which is a bit of fun with that. So
how's that going?
Yeah, good. We're promoting events, and it's all just about being active.
Yeah.
Not so. I think we focus on the workplace, but it's not just the workplace.
So what do you do personally to stay active?
Wow. Yeah. So this morning
you look pretty fit to me.
He does look fit, doesn't he?
I'm going okay. I've had my moments, but I'm going okay at the moment. No, so I've been a member at the Geelong gym for, I don't know, 40, 50 years, it seems, since I came to Geelong. So I'm a regular go to the gym, but more so walk around the river with my dog, So that's 7 or 8
I have
Ks
seen you
most
down
mornings.
there.
Yeah.
But I've moved house now, so I'm not near the river. Right? You and Victoria together walking the dog?
Yes, that's absolutely.
Right?
Yeah. So it's the first dog we've ever had. And, thank goodness he gets me out and about.
He lets you know when you don't.
Absolutely. Yeah, I hate the look he gives me when he knows he's not going to get a walk.
Yeah, they do. They do give you a look, don't they?
Now, Peter, you are still a councillor of Geelong, and as we said before, when we last interviewed you, you were the mayor. But I noticed you put your hand up again for the council election. So what's your motivation there?
Yeah, look, so council elections, it's always a harrowing time. I don't look forward to campaigns, but we've got a council election coming up. I enjoy my involvement on the council. I've had ups and downs, but it's all, I think, the greater good. It's just about making a difference, and I believe I do, and I can still make a difference. But it's just an amazing position to be in. What's brought before you, what comes through the chamber, just opens your eyes as to what's out there in Geelong, and I want to continue. Another 4 years if I get elected again to make a difference, keep making a difference.
There's a lot happening in Geelong at the moment, isn't there, Mark?
Oh, absolutely. And the city needs a strong and robust council. You've
absolutely.
got to, because otherwise you need state government funding, you need federal funding, you need all sorts of things. It's not just rates and rubbish. It's a lot more than that.
Yeah.
How do you find the new building?
Love it.
Mark and I were in there for a couple of days last week because we're judges on the Geelong Business Awards.
Oh, yeah, okay.
And we're in one of the on the forum, whatever the floor was.
First floor meeting, multi-room one or something. It's very cool.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, it looks like internally it looks really good.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I think it really works.
Yeah.
So explain the board change then. How's that working? Because that surprised me that sort of happened.
Yeah, not sure why that happened.
Yeah, it's just a bit weird.
Something a bit political there.
Forces out of your control.
Absolutely.
It is what it is.
So the board boundaries have changed, and we've gone from like 3 councillors in one ward to now single council wards.
So have the wards shrunk then?
The wards have shrunk. And, so I think I know the boundary. And of course, new name change. Like I was Brownbill. I'm now going to be running for Gadinia. And Gadinia used to be over the river, but now it's going to be this side of the river. It's interesting. And, there's a few coming out of the woodwork, putting their hands up, to run for council. So it's an interesting time.
When's the cut-off for entries?
Yeah, that's a good question. I haven't looked at the dates. I think it's mid-September.
Yeah, because the election's November, isn't it?
Yeah, so I think you nominate by mid-September. Look, I could be a little bit out with those dates, but
because that's when you go into caretaker mode. Okay, so it all sort of happens at that time.
Mark, I saw a big billboard somewhere, mobile billboard yesterday. I was down near Tri-Boys, I think, telling residents it's time to make sure they're set up to vote in the council elections.
Yeah, the VC.
I saw it somewhere there.
Well, there's been lots of social media posts and stuff with individual councils saying make sure if you're registered to vote, do you want to vote? So it's really important.
Right. So, Peter, Geelong, where we firmly believe Geelong's on the move. We know there's a lot going on. What change do you believe will be in place in another 4 years' time?
Good question.
Given that the convention centre will have been finished by then.
Yeah. I would love to say there's been some movement on the Market Square.
Ah, surprise! Yes.
Oh, absolutely.
And you know what? I'm confident there will be.
Oh, yeah.
It's a really important spot.
Absolutely. Yeah. The CBD, which is Market Square and the buses.
Yeah.
I just think that something will occur there.
Well, the old theatre's been done up in Little Mallet Street.
Looks superb, doesn't it?
The old Brighton Hitchcock building, the boys have got hold of that.
Hamilton Crew.
But it's depressing. Liz and I went to Market Square recently because...
Why?
Because if you want to get the best bargain on, and we've just moved house for kitchenware, I went to Harris Scarf.
Yep.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
But I walked through there, go up the escalator, there's nothing there.
No.
It's unbelievable.
Is JB Hi-Fi still tucked around the back?
Yeah, I think it is.
They must
but you're
be
right,
looking to
Peter.
move.
Market Square at the buses has been talked about for years. And if that's achieved in 4 years' time, that'll be a major milestone.
Absolutely.
And the concept the city's come up with is a good concept. It gives
right.
gives you an idea of what could be done there in terms of residential, etc.
Yeah.
Which would be really good. You just need the owners to realise there's a potential here.
Well, I'm confident.
Yeah, good.
There's some movement.
Excellent.
Yeah,
that's really good. Because that's
just
what's
keep
really
pushing.
needed. Keep pushing,
that's right.
Peter.
Yeah,
Keep
yeah.
pushing.
Now, before we just got started on this briefly, we're talking about the economic downturn and the number of businesses that we're reading about in Geelong who are closing down, particularly in hospitality, and that just reminded me, Pistol Pizza's closed down.
Yes. Too.
And we're talking about the Mexican restaurants and all the rest of it. Is this a case, as I believe, that this is just part of the bottom of the cycle and will come back again? What are your thoughts about that?
Well, history will tell us that that's what it is.
Yeah.
It's a difficult one. I've seen a bit on social media the last week or so about the number of businesses that have shut and businesses that have been here a long time.
Yeah.
So it's disappointing, and in my mind, I think, well, what can council do? There's not a lot.
No, I don't think it's council's domain, to be quite honest.
And that's true too.
Right?
Yeah. I mean, we certainly dipped our toe in the water during COVID with council supporting businesses, but this is something for state and federal. But our lives have changed, haven't they?
That's right. And look, I'll just throw in another thought, because Mark and I specialise in the area of consulting and strategy for small business, but I specialise in family business. And what I have seen, a big trend, is the next generation don't want to take over mum and dad's business that's been around for years. Yeah. And we're seeing a lot of this, and a lot of these traditional businesses we're talking about sitting there saying, well, the kids don't want work in the business. They don't want to work like we do. put it up for sale, but no one wants to buy them.
Yeah.
So what's the next alternative? Close the door.
Yeah.
And part of this close down is also, caused. That's the cause and effect of the change in generations. Yeah. That's what's happening.
Yeah, the ageing baby boomers.
Yeah, that's right.
It all drives
do you know
it. So, Peter, just flipping back, how do people find about the Geelong Racecourse website?
Yeah, on the website. Look, we race, as I say, 24, 25 times a year. So there's a meeting held there every 2.5, 3 weeks. And just pushing the Geelong Cup, if you haven't been,
go.
It's, you can just buy a ticket at the gate to walk in, general admittance, of course, on the day. But if you want to be spoiled a little bit more, have a look at our corporate facilities that are available, and, they range, so it's a good choice there.
And it's a fun day.
And you will enjoy it. Absolutely enjoy it.
It is a fun day. So that was really interesting, Bill.
Yes, no, I enjoyed that, Peter, and thanks for coming along again.
And good luck in the council elections.
Thanks very much,
We
gents.
wish you well there, and hope that next time we interview you, we might be talking to the mayor again. But we can, anyway, there's a challenge for you.
Thank you.
Righto.
Thanks, Peter.
Thanks, guys.